Welcome to Beyond the Transaction, a podcast focused on payments for the ISV and FinTech world. I'm your host, Todd Linden, and I'm CEO of Woodforest Acceptance Solutions. Each week, I'll sit down with leaders across payments and financial technology to unpack how real businesses scale through better data, smarter infrastructure, and aligned partnerships. If you care about how payments actually impact growth, you're in the right place. Welcome to Beyond the Transaction. Today I have a distinguished guest, somebody I've been gotten to know over the last couple of years, the CEO of KwickPOS, Ming. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to have you on my podcast for a long time, ever since I've really gotten to know KwickPOS. You know, we have some restaurants installed with your system, and we've had great success. But more importantly, you know, the more I've gotten to know your company, the company culture, the way you were founded, and I think the audience is gonna really enjoy hearing your story. But you know, what impressed me so much about KwickPOS was the fact that if there was ever a truly empathy-driven, empathy-built POS system, it is without question KwickPOS. I mean, getting to know and your story and your husband's story, and then having the you know, as he said to you earlier, the ability to attend your 10-year anniversary and get to know your staff and see the enthusiasm and the loyalty that you have built in that staff and in that company culture was so impressive. So thank you for joining me. And, you know, I'm anxious for our audience to hear how you have evolved your restaurant platform.
Sure. Thank you so much, Todd. I feel such honor to be invited here. I'm very excited. Like you said, you know, I met you 2 years. Your company is, you know, very, you know, very impressed for me too. So I want to talk a little bit about why I end with like a KwickPOS. So as lots of people you may not know, my husband Tom and I, we both working in Silicon Valley as a software engineer. That's about like 30 years ago. And so his sister, 1996, she moved to College Station because her husband got a job in the NM. So she decided to running a restaurant instead of be the engineering. So the one day she asked Tom, could you develop a POS for us? The one I had, I don't like it. So I wanted something really quick, easy, and fast. So Tom, you know, he's a computer engineer, you know, genius, I would say. So he just developed. That's how we started with first version. And then meanwhile, you know, she invited us to invest her restaurant. A couple years later, the restaurant is expanding from College Station to San Antonio, Austin, you know, right now. So far, our first one still existing in College Station. So I decided to change my career. That's why we moved to Texas about 20 years ago. I actually managed the restaurant about like 50 years. So I know the restaurant front end, you know, the back end. So, and then, because we know the pain point. So, and that's everything what we did, you know, I just asked Tom, this is what we needed. So we really know exactly the pain point, the solution. So that's 10 years later. And we decide, why don't we just, you know, build a KwickPOS? That's how we set up KwickPOS so far.
Well, and that makes sense to me because, as you've always described it, it was through experience, restaurant management, both in the front of the restaurant and the back of the restaurant, that you and your team were able, and your husband, you know, from the pure technology perspective, your team was able to really answer the call with respect to all of the different things that, you know, are needed for efficient restaurant operations. And I think that, you know, the feedback that we get from our customers and the feedback that I've had from some of our channel partners who use your system has always been so positive. And I think that part of that is because the platform is complete. But I think the other part of that is that you're always willing to listen and develop further, what is needed as the restaurant business grows and evolves. And you guys have done such a good job at that. Is that intake process, are you guys must spend a ton of time, and I'm sure you'll share this with us, just listening to the feedback of your growing customer base.
Exactly. What is the most different from KwickPOS with other POS systems? Because this POS actually born from the kitchen. Right, like I said, I actually work in the kitchen, so I know exactly how chaos of the inside the kitchen when they have a rush hours, right? How pressure of those chef, all those servers, especially owner, right? Not only face the customer complaining, they actually pressure of the employee too. So whenever they call, because I know from the back end, basically my experience is, when I moved to Texas, I know how to sign the lease from the landlord, build it, the system, how to set up the menus, all kind of the area I know. So I know exactly their pressure and the pain point. So that's why I want to, let my own employee, the restaurant business is not as easy. You just see outside, you eating food, the behind actually just like a battle. So I want them really think about their way. So whenever they call, you need to resolve their issues. That's a service, because you need to understand what they needed. So that's why I require all my employees, they have a restaurant experience is a must be. So if not, I always take them to the restaurant, the packaging and the front, to know from the customer's end of the point of view.
Yeah, it's so noticeable. It's so important, especially today. The restaurant business, from a platform or POS perspective, to me has, number one, it was really the first vertical restaurants to totally embrace POS systems, complete POS systems, right? The more integrated POS system with table management and inventory management, communication with the kitchen, all of the different things. I'm no expert, but I mean, those are the basic things that I know. But today, so first of all, that it was there first. The complexity for restaurants was there before other verticals, or a lot of other verticals. But today, there's been kind of a my way or the highway approach to some of the restaurants, some of your competitors, that has been and caused kind of a sea of change in the restaurant business, and some of that may be of good business decisions. At least they think so at the POS level, but it has really been disheartening for restaurant operators. It's been disheartening for channel partners. And so I really love the fact that KwickPOS is staying neutral towards your sales partners, but still always evolving and always, doing, your objectives are always to make a better product of it, to provide better service. And we really appreciate that. When I have these podcasts and I talk to people like you in other verticals, I'm usually having a conversation about enabling the partner. And much of the time that's providing them participation in payments. You don't want to participate in payments. You want in the payment revenue per se. You want to be able to provide the best service with the best partners, and provide that to your sales channel as well. And that is, tell me about that. How is that working? You've attracted more and more partners. I think you're up to, I think last I checked,
about 500 agents.
500 agents and 10,000 merchants now, installs?
It's 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be 10 soon.
Of course, thank you. Yeah, that's like how we start because, we know from the back end how we design our POS system. We're using Linux. Like this is open software. We need like the freedom here. So we believe is everybody, you have your specialty, right? So what for us, we are good about the solution. So for the restaurant area, actually is like a service. So lots of them, those like ASO agent across the United States, they actually already have a good relationship with the restaurant owner. Restaurant owner not only just the payment, they actually acting like a consulting role, helping them to do the POS solution and like a payment, maybe others. So they can trust them and they can help them to find a good solution. So that part, they're already good about it. And they're already existing. So if we actually know the solution, I think it's nice to work together. So we can provide, good product, find those like a pain point solution for them. And then those agents, the local, they actually have like, face-to-face contact whenever they need it.
So important.
Very important. And then another part look like payment, right? We're looking for something for the restaurant owner, they actually have a choice. I don't want them to lock like a, high rates locked it because the restaurant margin is pretty low. That one really affect. So that's why I want to give them like a, restaurant owner freedom, agent have a freedom, and you just, do your best and work together, provide the best solution for the restaurant owner. So that is kind of have our philosophy. So that's why we gave up the merchant service residual for the agent. That's why you deserve it. And then we will build more solution and earn what we needed. That's
well,
how
and your channel partners appreciate that. I've got to say that, I think it's a horrible word to use, but so many of the POS systems today in the restaurant business are trapping their customers, and they're trapping them and holding them hostage. And during that hostage position that they're putting the restaurant owner is they are chewing away at margins, and the alternative to leave is to scrap a big investment in the POS system, which in the end is very, very expensive. So here you are stuck with software that you may or may not completely like, and you're also stuck with a payment rate that is further diminishing your margins. And I really appreciate the fact that, and I know that everyone that I've talked to, channel partners of ours, channel partners that I've met of yours in the last couple of years, they've been entirely appreciative of that openness so that you don't trap a customer, and that you're more willing than anyone out there in the business that I can think of actually getting in there and just really listening to what a customer needs in order to operate the restaurant more efficiently. So that's really appreciated. Want to pivot to my platform. It's no secret that I had really wanted to have you be part of our switch to issuer processing. You're integrated. Your team in concert with my team on the ISV side, because of the technical abilities of both teams, it went very quickly. We pride ourselves at going fast, but when we go fast with somebody who's got a technical team like yours, it's lightning fast. But now you're in a position to be with a processing platform that is going to provide you, and you don't know it yet because you don't have enough, we just came out of the development process, but your customers are going to see, and our customers, our mutual customers, are going to see better authorization rates. They're going to see higher reliability in the authorization process, better metrics all the way around. But then they're also I'm going to be able to provide you and the merchant customers much cleaner, much more actionable data. I know that you guys are doing a lot on the marketing side with that kind of feedback. How do you see that playing, and how do you feel about being part of our processing rails?
Okay, exactly. Like I said, everything, if you are good about it, professional, you can do things good, right? So the same thing when we see like a high volume on the restaurants, lots of them maybe their funding, delayed for 2 or 3 days. Maybe if they have something issues, they call us, and we actually, have to go to, third party, like adjust the tips, kind of stuff. So it's very hard for us to help them to, get the amount right. So when we're looking for something, was, because you guys are professional and they're stable, and so we actually you guys like switch to issuer. So, the faster approve and then the funding, kind of like next day funding, that's actually is very quick for them. That's kind of their lifeline. Another part is whatever have some issues, it's because you guys have a customer integration with us. So from the POS part, for us, it's easier to monitoring them, give them like an alert if this fund is be batched or not batched or something kind of stuff. So help customer, like a restaurant owner, can save the money as much as possible. So that's why I think we see lots of the value from the WOS. And then another part, your technology part, during the integration part, we are like deep diving in. Your team is very professional and fast also. So we always, have according to the customer needs, the customer kind of have customizations.
Good.
Yeah. I can share a little story, one of the restaurant, actually they, did not batch like for a long time, more than like $10,000. And they did not know. That's actually may help, maybe they have just like lost like cash flow. Maybe they can help, maybe make them like close the business. Yeah, that's why I think to see all the value of the WOS.
Well, we hope we will continue to evolve the platform as well. I mean, we recently installed same-day funding for restaurants, so with a 3 a.m. cutoff on the East Coast and 12 Pacific. But we're constantly looking at ways that we as a platform company can enable you and your products to do better. We want to be able to give you more service, more time, to more things to talk about. I think that the data piece is going to be big for both of us. We're really working with our partners, with Visa, very, very, very extensively on business intelligence tools, right? And to be able to give that data to you with ideas, AI-driven ideas, of how to benchmark a restaurant against its competition in its local market, and even beyond where to open up your next location. Those are the kind of things that's the kind of partner that we want to be to KwickPOS. So we really appreciate it. I'm so excited about the partnership. I know that we're just now starting to talk to let everybody know that you're live on our rails, even though we've been doing business together on the third-party rails, as you said earlier. So before we wrap, what's new? What's coming up at KwickPOS in the future? I know that there's a retail POS system that you have on the drawing board?
Exactly. Yeah, we already tested high volume of the restaurant from quick service to full service. So like us, you guys are customized, we can customize too. So we actually were going to introduce retail POS system and the slow POS system also. And like I said, like now II actually is, we will introduce II technology in our POS system. What we will do is, for example, we just test like II phone call. The restaurant right now, the label is costing so high. And so then they can answer the phone call by any different language. And not than that, they actually have a promotion sales, like, introduce them and never angry. And they all those like automation sent to the kitchen. More than that, actually, restaurant owner actually just talk. Restaurant owner, most of them are very busy, right? You provide like reporting, maybe they don't have a time to go to the computer. They might just talk to us, say, hey, could you tell me what is the most popular dish I wanted, okay? What is the best performance on my employee? And then could you send me those, blah, 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 those report or how much the sales? So you just talk to them. They actually will send all those informations.
Yes.
Yeah, back to the talk of the payment. Right now, not only like save the money for because different save money for the rate because we are like direct to the issues. Other than that, you guys provide some other like payment for the online order, right? And in QR table order, like a kiosk. So even like I order, we actually can use your payment method to send it to the the restaurant, the customers, they can pay for it.
Great.
So we have a lot of things can do to improve
I know you can.
sales.
Yeah, you guys are feature rich. Well, listen, I'm so grateful that you joined us today. To everybody out here listening, look at KwickPOS. KwickPOS. It's a best in class restaurant system. I prefer you put them with Woodforest Acceptance Solutions, but I would recommend you and your company anytime. So thank you so much for coming and joining me today.
Thank you so much.
To learn more about the topics we discussed today, or to explore more about how modern payment infrastructure can support your business, visit toddlinden.com or woodforestpay.com. Thanks for spending time with us on Beyond the Transaction.